Well, for a closer look now at who's in that new administration and what the newspapers make it of all this Thursday, I'm joined by our press reviewer, Elena Casas. Elena, how's the new cabinet gone down then?
Well, Libération loves it. Of course, the left-wing paper's unlikely to criticise the president they so much wanted to see elected on his third day, are we now, in office? So they've got equality as a big headline. And all the women, all 17 of them that are in that cabinet on Libération's front page, of course, he's fulfilled that flagship headline promise to have an equal amount of men and women in his cabinet. He's also, as the paper explained on the inside, managed to find people to represent just about every ideological current within the Socialist Party and some outside of it, of course, bringing Green ministers into the cabinet. Now, this really serves to emphasise how many different ideological currents do exist within the Socialist Party and how much they've spent the last 10 or 15 years fighting one another. This is what he hopes to end, of course, by bringing them all together and putting people of different views within the cabinet. So you've got those, for example, like Laurent Fabius, who famously led the No campaign to the European Treaty in 2005, which the Socialist leadership at the time supported. He's, of course, at the Foreign Ministry, whereas those who said yes, those who were the supporters of Dominique Strauss-Kahn at the time, like Pierre Moscovici in Finance, also find themselves represented in the new cabinet, as do those who were close to Ségolène Royal, who herself is looking for a job as leader of the Assemblée Nationale, but has seen some of her key partisans, like Aurélie Filippetti at Culture and Najat Vallaud-Belkacem, who's now Minister for Gender Equality, come into the cabinet. So he is trying to represent all of the different currents that exist in the party, but really it's who's not in that cabinet that's making headlines more than who is in it, and that of course is the leader of the Socialist Party at the moment, Martine Aubry.
Indeed, Martine Aubry, the big omission there. How has that gone down with the newspapers?
Well, leaving her out has really been a gift to the right-wing papers because it means that if you're Le Figaro, you can headline Hollande, Aubry, the divorce. These are the two big figures of the Socialist Party in recent years whose private falling out that has all long been an open secret, if you like, has now become a very public falling out now that she's not in that government. Now, of course, she opposes any claim that this is a public falling out. She tells all the papers that she's calm and serene and just wasn't really interested in a place in the government, having been number 2 in Laurent Fabius' government in the 1990s. Other than Prime Minister, she didn't really see the interest in any other job. The papers say he tried to offer her a big culture education ministry. Some rumours he even offered her the finance ministry, but she wasn't interested as long as she couldn't have Matignon. And of course, he opted for Jean-Marc Ayrault, who is a close personal friend of François Hollande. Aubry and Hollande have long had personal differences, of course, on both policy and personality level, which some in the right-wing press say even go back to decades ago when her father, Jacques Delors, one of the great French socialist figures of post-war France, sort of adopted him as a political heir rather than her, perhaps because she was a woman.
So that equality not extending to Martine Aubry this time around. New ministers have got a lot on their plates, though, haven't they, as they get into office?
Yes, Le Parisien has a headline today, the challenges facing those new ministers, which are many and varied. On their cartoon, they do rather mock the Martine Aubry situation. They've got, with someone saying to François Hollande, well, we've not opted for her as a heavyweight in government, so we're going to have her as ball and chain on the outside, which is fairly clear. Martine Aubry is a very strong popular rallying figure. She's very popular with the left of the party. A lot of socialist voters, the majority, said they did want her as Prime Minister. So now she's not in the cabinet. Is she going to cause problems on the outside? They also do look, as I said, at some of the challenges facing those new ministries. For Laurent Fabius at the Foreign Ministry, he's got to try and pull French troops out of Afghanistan, according to Hollande's promise, really much sooner than expected, by the end of this year or next. That's going to be a difficult, tricky situation. Then there's Syria he's got to deal with. And for Moscovici at the Finance Ministry, is he soon going to be trying to deal with the Greek pullout from the euro? That's what he'll be worrying about.
And just very briefly to finish, some new ministries created as well as ministers.
Yes, to try and make the left of the party happy, he's created a new ministry, François Hollande, called Productive Redressment. What is productive redressment? We don't quite know. We think it means reindustrialising France, bringing back jobs into France that have been outsourced, and he's picked the famous anti-globalisation lefty Arnaud Montebourg, who's become quite a celebrity in the Socialist Party since doing very well in the primary election back in October of last year. He's going to be minister for that, so that's, if you like, a bit of a sop to the left of the party, who may be upset about Aubry being left out.
Okay, watch this space to find out what exactly he will be up to. Thank you very much indeed, Elena, for that look at today's French newspapers.